People pleasers are people who will do pretty much everything asked of them so that those around them are happy. They usually put everyone else first before themselves and look for outside validation and feel as if they have to mold themselves to the expectations of others. If this sounds like you, then watch this video all the way to the end to learn how you can stop being a people pleaser and finally start working on yourself. Hey everyone, and welcome to Self University. Make sure to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's begin. Today, we're going to learn about how to stop being a people pleaser. Before we start with how you can stop people pleasing, let's start with why individuals become people pleasers in the first place. You might be wondering, why do people become so overly nice to the point where they are always putting others' needs before theirs? The main reason stems from their childhood. Each person has a basic human necessity for love, validation, affirmation, and protection. When children grow up without these vital needs, and instead they experience neglect, exploitation, or abuse, they arrive at adulthood carrying these unmet emotional needs and unhealed emotional wounds. Adults who have had these types of childhood pains and losses usually suffer from low self-esteem and are lacking in confidence. They've internalized the neglect and are convinced that they have to earn love and approval. They'll try to get others to compensate for what was lacking in their childhood to heal their emotional wounds. Pleasers tend to be attracted to those who are selfish, exploitative, and even abusive to them. They continue to give and give while the other person treats them badly, yet they don't leave. Why is that, you might ask? Sigmund Freud has an answer to this. It is called the repetition compulsion. Repetition compulsion is a pattern of choosing someone who treats you in the same hurtful way as your caretaker did during your childhood. The hope is that by changing the person in your adulthood, you'll magically fix the relationship with your caretaker. Unfortunately, this is not possible. A relationship in the present will not change a relationship from the past. The first thing that you need to understand before you can learn how to stop being a people pleaser is the fact that you need to be more self-aware and to be able to look at yourself without judgment and with respect. Recognize when you are giving in to other people's demands rather than taking control of your own time. When you've lived your entire life up to this point as a people pleaser, it may be very difficult to realize that you're even doing this. Most of this habit comes automatically. You must be self-aware and recognize this tendency to people please because it's the first step to changing this type of behavior. Linda Tillman, a clinical psychologist in Atlanta, Georgia, says, "Their personal feelings of security and self-confidence is based on getting the approval of others. Thus, at the core, people pleasers lack confidence. People pleasers feel like if they say no, they'll be disliked from those around them, whether it's their friends, families, or even strangers. You might think you're being nice and drama-free, but in reality, you're actually keeping your true self hidden. This only results in being surrounded by rude, selfish, and unforgiving people who, instead of appreciating you for putting their needs first, they treat you like a pushover or a doormat." Here are some ways that can help you to stop people pleasing and start living life on your own terms. People pleasers often have a difficult time saying no. It is the fear of not being accepted or liked by their peers, even to the point where they believe that they will be cut off from their circle of friends. It may seem very difficult at first, which is why you have to practice saying no. A good way is to work your way up by starting with insignificant no's. What I mean by this is using the word no when it does not affect your life in any way. For example, you can start by saying no to a server when they ask if you want to order a drink with your meal. Another example can be saying no to a door-to-door salesman when he comes up to your house. Then you can move up to more significant no's, such as when your friend invites you to go out when you are already feeling overwhelmed with work and other responsibilities. Be more assertive when answering requests and demands. Jonathan Alpert, a psychotherapist, suggests providing a short explanation or even none at all can help people pleasers be more assertive with their decisions. Toxic and fake people love to push boundaries by saying things like, "It'll be quick," or "It's not a big deal." Albert proposes saying something like, "Hey, I'm sorry I can't right now, but I'll let you know when and if I can." This puts you in the position of power and is also polite. It lets the asker know that they are not the priority and gives you the ability to return at a time that is convenient to you. Continuing from the last point, most people pleasers naturally will say yes as soon as they are given a request. Whenever someone asks you for something, it's completely okay for you to say that you need some time to think about it. This allows you an opportunity to consider if you really want to help them or not. Ask yourself these questions. How stressful is this going to be? Do I even have time to help this person? What am I giving up for myself when I do this for them? Asking yourself these questions is key because after you've said yes, you're stuck. By saying no and giving yourself an ample amount of time to think about it, you have the option to say yes if you think this demand is genuine and that they really need help and not just manipulating you. Live for yourself. Most people pleasers are desperate for validation and appreciation. I want you to rely on internal validation. Do things that make you feel good. If you feel good, then you don't need others to make you feel good. A great way to do this is by setting your own goals. Ask yourself, what is something I want to do in my life? Or, where do I see myself in 5 years? Now make a list of things you can do for yourself to reach that goal. It is a lot easier to say no to other people when you know there are more important things for you to do for yourself. This allows you to focus on you and not on other people's opinions of you. People pleasing is not the same as helping others. Helping others involves aiding them in their needs, while pleasing others is giving them everything that they want. Just because someone wants you to do something doesn't mean that they need you to do it. It is manipulating other people's perception of you so that they will like and favor you. Remember, the only validation you need is from yourself and yourself only. Do not lose your integrity with yourself for others. It has very serious consequences for your own happiness and for the relationship with those around you. The last tip is to stop apologizing. You shouldn't need to feel bad because you need to prioritize. You have responsibilities and things to do as well. If you are constantly apologizing for every little thing, whether or not it's justified, you are standing in the way of your own success. This habit may seem harmless at first, but it can undermine your authority and your confidence. It will portray you as weak and indecisive as well as ruin all your credibility. Prime example is the boy who cried wolf. Over-apologizing can desensitize your listeners when you want to actually give a sincere apology later in your life. You are standing up for yourself, and remember that if you don't, no one else will. As you can see, the main idea of stopping yourself from people-pleasing is to first realize that you have this problem. Many of these issues can be solved internally, not externally. Many people-pleasers surround themselves with people who can be narcissistic and only care about themselves. They have found someone who is willing to do anything for them even though they probably would never return the favor. Don't be afraid to lose people in your life because you have stopped being a doormat for them. Understand that if these were real friends, they wouldn't cut you off as a friend in the first place. I really hope these tips help you stop people pleasing and finally start living life on your own. Thanks for watching till the end of the video. If you learned something new, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our amazing content. Check out these other videos that we have, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.